G'day guys, welcome to the first episode of the Millionaires of Oz podcast. Today we are joined with a really good mate of mine, Blake Deussen.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's good to be here.
So Blake Deussen, you were born in Adelaide, born and bred.
Yeah.
You joined the South Australian Police Force at age 19 and have been active since. At 28 years old, you have a 14 property portfolio worth more than $10 million, putting you in the top 0.014% of the Australian population. Congrats, mate. Your life motto is if you're going to play to win and go all in. And the one mindset trick that separates you from everybody else is that you're not better, you're not smarter, you just move quicker than anyone else. You were born in Adelaide, grew up in Adelaide. What school did you go to?
I went to Grange Primary School down obviously by the beaches next to Henley there, and then went to Henley High School after that.
Fuck yeah, Henley High School, hey? So, obviously you're an entrepreneur, you built a 14 property portfolio. Where did this mindset come from?
Well, man, basically, I've always been very driven. I've always had heaps of hunger in me. I think it's just knowing where to channel all of it has been my biggest challenge my whole life, really. And there's been times where I've channeled it in the wrong areas, and then whenever I've channeled it in the right areas, I've found that I can do some serious damage and get some crazy results. So it's taken on a lot of fine tuning over the years, but yeah, essentially my story is I grew up western suburbs of Adelaide, and from there, when I was 10 years old, my parents went through a really rough divorce. Things got really, really bad at home for a while, and to be honest with you, the divorce was the best thing to ever happen because of how bad things were at home. Dad lost his business. My parents turned to drinking, and then, yeah, I think from there, what happened was I moved in with mum. I live with mum, and mum's been on Centrelink for as long as I can remember. So, yeah, we lived pretty rough. Not really rough, but mum never had money, right? So I could never ask mum for money for anything. She always put food on the table. It was nothing special, but anything outside of that, it was on me to start working really young, which I did.
So what was your first job?
My first job, I had to think really quickly when I was 11 because any spending money I had to find myself, and I started footy umpiring. So I was 11 years old and, doing some umpiring for the younger kids.
So you started working at 11, obviously, until you were at the age of 18 where you joined the South Australian Police Force. What was childhood like during your teenage years? So you get up, go to school. What were you like in school? Popular?
In school, like, I'm very convinced that I've got ADHD, right? So if I'm not interested in something, I find it really difficult to listen. I've always battled that. In school, I was no good, right? Like, I graduated with like a 52 ATAR.
Same.
Yeah, yeah. I wasn't interested in the stuff that they were talking about. I did well in the sports stuff, but anything educational, I did no good. So I was never disrespectful. I was always respectful to the teachers and everyone around me. But I was never intelligent in any way.
That's what I find interesting because a lot of kids with ADHD, because they struggle picking something, obviously they can concentrate really, really well, but they struggle channeling that. So obviously you're going to go through times in your teenage life where it's just testing, adjusting what you want. So how did you come across entrepreneurship, or how did you come across trying to be a millionaire?
Both of my grandparents were entrepreneurs and they did quite well for themselves, but then it completely stopped at my parents. So it skipped a generation there, I suppose. And yeah, I think that I've always watched my grandparents in their entrepreneur journey. Unfortunately, they both passed away 5 to 10 years ago now. So I could never ask them the questions that I would have loved to ask them now. But yeah, seeing that was always inspirational. But then I had my parents who, dad owned a business for a bit, but both just PAYG and mum's on Centrelink. So I never had them to bounce ideas off. And to them, what was normal was to go get a full-time normal job. So
I was actually gonna bring that up because that's so interesting that you said that. Obviously, we're gonna fact check this, but I'm pretty sure the likelihood of you not ending up like your parents, being on Centrelink, being PAYG is less than 10%. So you've beat the odds with your ADHD. You've beat the odds with the way you grew up, because a lot of people in your situation are sort of use it as an excuse to, well, if my parents did drugs or if my parents drank or whatever, I'm sort of gonna go down that path.
Yeah, and that happens a lot. I see that a lot in my work as well. So that's very true what you're saying there, and that doesn't even surprise me because of everything that I see with yeah, through the line of my work with parents and kids. Yeah, I think I've just got such dog in me, to be honest with you. I'm just so driven and got so much fire. I'm definitely by far not the smartest guy out there, 100%. But it comes back to my mottos and stuff. How I just move quicker, just not giving up. There's heaps there, but I think consistency will outdo intelligence every time.
Yeah, yeah, fucking oath. And that's what I mean. Like, you say you have all this drive, but like, you know, obviously we're mates, and I could tell the audience I've never met someone in my life that's more driven than Blake. But you come across as a guy that's got like fucking 30 mortgages, 6 kids, and like fucking a wife telling you what to do. But you're single,
Yeah.
you're living with mates, you've got no worries other than your job.
Yeah.
So where does this extra motivation come from? Because you can clearly just, obviously, with your 14 property portfolio worth over $10 million, I say congratulations, you fucking earned it. Everyone knows that. So why keep going? Like, why act broke and act like you've got nothing when, in hindsight, looking at everyone else in the population, looks like you've got fucking everything.
Yeah. No, it's a good question. I think there's a bunch of different little things that have happened in my life that I think has led to this. But there's one particular time in my life when I can really pinpoint it of where this is all sort of sparked and come from. I know it was probably about 2.5 years ago now. I was in a relationship, whether you want to call it toxic or not, that's up to debate. But put it this way, I was extremely unhappy in that relationship. And I had one property, the one that I lived in.
Yeah.
My net worth was not high.
Yeah.
And I lost all of my drive, all of my ambition. Yeah, I think it was a mix of laziness as well, probably, but just I had no direction, right? And essentially what happened in a really bad relationship, and I had, yeah, no direction. And I was at the point where I was training at Body Fit at the time. And I was having a chat to the trainer, and at the time I hated him for this so much, but now I look back on it and I can thank him. We were just chatting and he was asking, like, what are your goals right now? Like, what are you working on? And I said, yeah, like, nothing. He goes, what, you got no goals, like no ambition, you got nothing? And I'm like, nah. And at that time, my relationship was so bad that I was on, and this is being very open and transparent, I was in such a bad mental place. I was on strong anxiety medication. I was driving up to the hills here in Adelaide, which is like, an hour away from where I live every single week for psych, to see the psych. I was meditating. I was podcasting, just trying to calm myself down, trying to work out why I am so miserable and anxious. And yeah, I think in that moment when he said that, I got so angry. I was like, wow, he's right. He's fully exposed me here. I've got nothing that I'm working towards. I'm just sort of coasting through life. And then I suppose the story ends pretty badly as well. This is also full exposure. I think being authentic is important, right? So I'll just be open and honest about it. But um, she moved into my house for 3 days. So we moved in together, and after that 3 days, we broke up. It was really bad. Obviously, she sold all of her furniture, and we fully committed to it. And then I broke up with her after 3 days, and I found myself in mum's basement, living there. I told her, take as long as you need. I'm going to sacrifice myself and live with mum. You can have the house until, and it was my house, and I'd been there for 4 years, but I gave it to her to stay for as long as she needed till she found her feet. And yeah, in that moment, I was in mum's basement and really contemplating where the fuck I was going in life and what the fuck has just happened. I felt so empty, and that made me really reflect about a lot of things. And not long after that, I started my journey. Yeah.
Do you know what? That's so interesting. That's really interesting that you say that, because for some reason the general public think, multi-millionaires are just some sort of just like people with no emotion. I think what I really like about you is you are relatable. So, and I'm sure there's plenty of dudes out there who are on their villain arc after like a breakup or whatever, or something really, really bad has happened. So, obviously getting out of that is a fucking challenge
Yeah.
itself. So, what advice would you give to someone going through that right now?
I think it's very important, in my opinion, to not start chasing distractions after that.
So, what's distractions?
I'll classify distractions as jumping into the next relationship. I would class distractions as start drinking, partying. I think there's healthy distractions, such as catching up with loved ones and friends, but not toxic. Yeah, but not toxic distractions, because you need to heal and you need to self-analyze. In my opinion, this is what I had to do. I had to really think, what do I want for myself in life? Because what I had for 25 years was not fulfilling. It was not me. I knew I was built for more. And I've always had this, I'm very good at manifesting. And even in those times, whether it was the medication, like dimming me down, or just the relationship, I didn't have that anymore in that relationship. And that was very painful. But since then, yeah, everything's changed. And I think that just comes from sitting with it, healing. And it's scary and it's horrible, but it's so worth it. And I've been a victim of that as well. Like, one of my distractions, or I suppose toxic hobbies, was gambling. So I battled that for a while as well. I've got such an addictive personality, which now I've learned how to use that to my benefit with property and wealth building. It comes back to my point before with channeling it in the right directions. When I channeled that with gambling, with that addictive personality type, it can be really, really bad. So I got over that a few years ago now. But yeah, that's another thing I'd say to stay away from, because I know a lot of people these days turn to gambling. It's so easily done on our phones now. I see everyone doing it. So yeah, stay away from that if you can, because it can only disbenefit you.
Yeah,
Crazy dopamine rushes. Yeah.
obviously, yeah, you get a dopamine rush from gambling, don't you?
Crazy.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, so going back a bit, obviously this is what happened 2.5 years ago, but more so straight out of high school. So you got your ATAR, you looked at it and said, "Fuck, I don't know what to do." Was Bleeds Falls your first option, or was it
Yeah, I did work experience in year 10. Yeah, I did work experience in year 10
with the South Australian Police Force?
with the South Australian Police Force. And I've always hated arrogance. Always.
Why?
The guy, when everyone's trying to have a good night, the guy trying to start fights, or the one who thinks he's just better than everybody else and puts everybody else down. The bullies, like through high school, when I saw that, and I know it all comes from insecurity with these people, and I've learned that now, but I've always hated that. And maybe I'll get into it later, but even now I'm getting into rooms with high net worth, successful people. 95% are not like that, but there is the 5% that I see that have that arrogance to them. And I've got prime examples of seeing it now, and I still hate it equally as bad. So I don't know, man. I think money amplifies who you really are, in my opinion. I've found that for myself. And if you're a kind person, you'll be more kind when you get money. I found that for myself 100%, more giving. But if you're arrogant, it gives you that green light, that ticket to be more arrogant. And few do make it who are arrogant. And I don't think it's long term. I think there'll be cracks eventually for these people. But the few that I have seen who are successful and who are arrogant, get me the fuck away from them. Like, truly.
It's just more so being around arrogant people that you sort of decided you don't want to be like that. And in fact, Obviously, you joined a job role that serves the community
Yeah.
and does good. And obviously, there's like a few bad eggs in the police force. That's everyone knows that. That's not a secret, but every job is like that.
Look, everyone's human, man. There's going to be
Yeah.
everywhere you go, I think. But the reason why I joined the police force is, yes, I hate arrogance, but I've always had this will to help people.
Yeah.
Much I love helping people and giving.
Yep.
That might sound, but
Every job is like that.
well, everyone's human, man. There's going to be that everywhere you go, I think. But the reason why I joined the police force is, yes, I hate arrogance, but I've always had this will to help people. Like, I know how much I love helping people and giving. That might sound cliche, I suppose, now I say it out loud, but that's always been in me. And I've got plenty of examples for that where I've now helped people in property and in self-development in the last couple of years, where that's when I've been most happiest. Not when I've hit my goals, my personal goals in that moment, when I've helped people genuinely change the trajectory of their lives with advice that I've given them, or directions of where to take and things to eliminate in their life, just stuff like that. So yeah, back to the question, the reason why I joined the police is I love helping the community. I love helping people. That really feels really good. And I think that that will never go away. Me wanting to help people and seeing how happy that can make people as well. And being the person in the police, for example, when someone's broken into your house and caused trauma to the victims for 5 years, or someone who's just punched someone unprovoked in a pub, someone who's trying to ruin people's nights, being the person over the last 10 years in the police force that can do something about that has been really fulfilling for me. And yeah, I think that's a big reason why I joined, to be able to do something about the people who are trying to make other people's life hell.
So what I want to know is, obviously you want to help people, but for someone in life who's just, obviously your child or grown up, when you're so used to not having enough to give to people, what sparks that in you to help people, if that makes sense? Because if you don't have the resources, especially when you were younger, if you don't have the resources to help people, you don't have the resources to do anything, where does that come from? Where does that?
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It does. I heard a quote once and it's really sat well with me, and it's just, I always think about it. And the quote was, "The world is cruel to broke people. Never apologize for chasing money." And it's by Cody Sanchez, I think, was the lady who said it. But it's, that can sound brutal to people, but I think it's true. And especially in my line of work, I've seen that. The world's not nice to broke people, you know. So me knowing that having money, I can genuinely change the world, I feel like. And I can change the trajectory of people's lives, and I can really help them if I have money. So coming back to my passion to wanting to help people, I know if I have money, I'm going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I think that the more I get, the more I'll be able to help people. Because it's not about making money, right? It's about what money can do for you. It's about what money can I suppose allow you to do in life.
Yeah.
It's not about seeing high dollar figures in your bank. So yeah, I think that that's a big part. I know that I can do more for the world and people and my family as well, which I have already done. We'll go into that after with money.
And congratulate. Obviously, we'll go to the after, but fuck, you told me the other day what you did, and fuck me, man, that's fucking respect. I want to. So coming back to money.
Yeah.
So it was COVID 2020. Everybody under the fucking sun was saying, do not buy property. It's gonna crash. The economy's gonna crash. Don't do this. Don't do that. But obviously, a Sam Gordon quote, which I fucking love, is do not take advice from someone you don't want to be like. So, but obviously, when you're first starting out, you don't know what you don't know. So, what you see on the news, you're like, oh, man, they must be telling the truth. It's the news. They got all these resources. It's very, very dangerous, mate. So, what made you want to buy one when nobody was buying?
Well, number one, I was still living with dad, right? I didn't want to live with dad anymore. I was 22 or 21 and I didn't want to live at home anymore. That was number one. Number
First property at 21, is it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to get it built, and then 22, I think I moved in. Yeah. But Yes, it says you, mate. You got 3 at 22. You're flying. You're like you ain't focus. Fuff. But what made me want to do it was move out of home. Number one, and I cannot take full credit for this. There's no way because I have my now business partner. His name's Armon. I'm sure you have him on the podcast soon. I've told you all about him. My face lights up just talking about him. We're very close. He's been a huge part in my success. He really has. Without him, I wouldn't be here, and I mean that. I really do. He worked in lending for Westpac, I think it was. And he was the one who told me that, bro, you can go guarantor, as in your parents can go guarantor.
Yeah.
You and your parents can put down zero money and you can get a house for free, pretty much.
So I've actually heard about this. So you're not putting any money down. You're using your parents and yourself as guarantor. Especially if you already got a property portfolio, you're using them as a guarantor. So your properties that you have are used as collateral by the bank. So which doesn't affect your serviceability.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much, yes. It's pretty much dad. Well, it's pretty much, yes. It's pretty much dad owns enough equity in his house to be able to guarantor a 20% deposit for a house for me, being my parent, him being my parent. So dad had enough equity in his house that I could put down, or we both didn't put down any money, but there was enough there for a 20% security to be put down for the house that I wanted here in Adelaide. And that's what happened. And I didn't know about this. My friend told me all about it. I thought it was too good to be true. So did my dad. I didn't know whether he would say yes to it or not. What I've learned now is majority of parents will say yes because they all want their kids to get into the market, which is a great thing. And
So which property was this, by the way? Which one of the fucking 14 that you have?
yeah, I still live in it now, actually.
Yeah.
Woodville West.
Okay, so this is your first one.
Correct.
Okay. So you for your first property, you used the whole collateral thing.
Yeah. I still live in it now, actually. Woodville West.
Okay, so this is your first one.
Correct. Yeah.
What's it worth now?
15K first homeowners grant, so 390K net profit.
Fuck me, God.
And it's just been valued. It's a bit of a joke because we both put down $0, and I paid 405K for that house, 2020, with a 15K first homeowners grant, so 390K net price, and it's just been valued 2 weeks ago by the bank at 820. So I put down, it's actually silly. I put down $0 and have now increased my net worth in that house by, what's that, 430 grand or whatever it is.
Fuck. And you've got access to pretty much almost $500,000 in equity right there. Fuck yeah.
So that's something I hope the listeners, it's like a penny drop moment. Like, do my parents have equity in their house?
Actually, I was gonna talk to you about that. So we'll talk about dinosaurs. So a lot of parents, yes, I agree. Majority of them might say yes, but majority of them don't like debt. And majority don't like debt, especially under their name, because the same old fucking thing. Oh, you gotta buy a house, you gotta pay it down, you gotta live in it forever. Dinosaur mindset, obviously. So for the viewers that are listening, how can they go by asking this? Because majority of parents won't say that. The majority of parents, well, in my opinion, majority of parents would say, I don't want debt under my name, especially if they don't understand property investing. So what advice can you give to the viewers that want to do what you just did?
So it actually isn't going to be debt in this. Yeah. So it actually isn't going to be debt in their name. It's going to be in the kid's name, the buyer's name, right?
It's gonna be under your name, but if you default on it.
Correct. So, but basically, the way it works is you get the full debt in your name. Say I'm the buyer, I'll get the full debt, and if I can't make the repayments for whatever reason, Mr. Bankman will say, "Hey, parents, you've guaranteed this property. He's not making the repayments. Can you start funding the repayments?" If the parents say, "Nah, we can't. Like, we're broke. We can't afford that," then the bank has the right to the parents' home, to the 20% of it.
Yeah. But in saying that, you as a property investor, you need to do a lot of things fucking wrong to get to a point where you're defaulting on your first house, especially for 80% LVR, loan to value ratio. So if you're 80% LVR and you're struggling to make repayments on a $400,000 house, I don't think you should be having property in the first place.
The only caveat to that is it's not going to be 80% LVR. It's 100% because you're borrowing the full amount. But yes, on 400K, also back to your point when everyone else was telling me not to do it, everyone else was saying do not fix that home loan rate because you want variable because you can have an offset account.
What percentage was this at the time?
I got offered 1.99%. I got offered 1.99% fixed rate, right? During COVID times, everything tanked. The rates tanked, right? Yeah, everyone told me not to fix it. And I said, historically, I've never seen rates this low. Why would I not lock myself into that? Because they're probably just going to go up. Everybody that I spoke to said, no, they're probably going to come down more. Just go variable. You can have an offset account. There's more flexibility. Told everyone to fuck off. I did my own thing and I locked it in for 4 years at 1.99%. And that was a game changer for me to be able to build my portfolio because towards the end of that 4 years, you know, my serviceability, i.e. my borrowing capacity, was so good because I only had very small repayments because of that 1.99%. So I can take a lot of pride in that decision that I made. I can put my hand up and say that was all me. But yeah, these days, you know, like some of my investment properties, I'm paying as high as like 8% to put it in perspective, which is 4 times that. So yeah, exactly. Back to your point, man. You should be able to afford, and on debt that small, you should be able to afford the repayments. Yeah, I know. And you wouldn't want to let down your parents, man. And like as well, like you'll find the money.
Yeah, dude. And like even with dudes coming up to you and be like, don't do this, don't do that. At the end of the day, how many of them were millionaires?
Yeah, well, I wasn't a millionaire. Yeah, well, I wasn't a millionaire at the time at all, but correct. Be very careful who you get advice from. Yeah.
Because you wanted to sit a year with 14 properties if you nailed.
I know. No, like that's crazy, man. You think about it. I put down $0 to get into the market, and now it's allowed me to do this. You know, I don't want to say I cheated my way there, but just taking it was still a risk to get a house. You know, it was building and build costs were going through the roof. Builders were going bust as well. COVID times, everyone was losing their job, so it was still a risk. But I put down $0. So how much risk really is there? 100%. You have to put yourself in the right position to get the luck, I think. And me being friends with Armon, being close with him since primary. So when I first met Armon, I think we were both in grade 1 and he'd just arrived from Netherlands, which is where he's from. And yeah, he come and sat next to me. He was in a red jacket. I just remember it so clearly. And we just become best mates and we have ever since. And himself, he's got 12 properties, you know, so we keep each other in check. And Boyce, you and I were only at Sam Gordon's summit over the weekend. And when Sam Gordon said how important it is to get an accountability partner, that hit me hard because I'm like, that's probably why I'm doing so well right now because me and him, there's no bullshit, there's no fluff. We just keep each other in line, keep pushing each other, normalize what we're doing because everybody else that I speak to about it calls us crazy and stuff. So I'm just so grateful for him. And, you know, there's an old saying that I've heard. It's play long-term games with long-term people. And we've just been long-term friends and I think we will be forever. So
I think, dude, fuck yeah. I think especially there's a buyer's agent quote I've heard. I think it's from Jimmy Ibrahim or Sam Gordon, one of them. It's hard to turn friends into clients than it is from clients to friends.
yeah.
Obviously, it's a lot easier if you get a client to turn them into a friend because sometimes, and I'm sure I'll love to hear your opinion on this, when you get to a certain point of wealth and you start buying properties and, you know, all the, you know, I mean this in the most respectful way possible, but all your normal friends that aren't doing the same thing as you, and they ask you what you've been up to, and it sounds like you're showing off. So, what was that like? What was that like when you slowly started like accumulating properties and like, you know, then you realize like my mates that are like, you know, not at that level yet, it feels like I'm dragging them up, if that makes sense. And obviously that's exhausting. No human is going to do that for the rest of his life. So when was that switch?
This has been probably one of my biggest challenges because
Still to this day.
still to this day,
Yeah.
not only with my friends, but colleagues at work,
Yeah.
they're all great people,
Yeah.
but no one's doing this.
Mm.
So I can't expect them to understand.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, all I want to do is talk about this.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Yeah.
That might sound blunt.
Yeah.
This has been probably one of my biggest challenges because still to this day, not only with my friends, but colleagues at work, they're all great people, but no one's doing this. So I can't expect them to understand. Unfortunately, all I want to do is talk about this. That's all I care about. That might sound blunt, but it's my number one mission. It's my goal on the front of my mind all day, every day. Just keep going forward. Property, wealth, property. So when I go into work, I have to water that down and speak about what they want to speak about, because I have tried speaking about it and it falls on deaf ears and I look like an alien to them, I think. So, and that's, the same with my friends that was friends with before I started doing this. None of them get it. So it's hard to speak to them about it. And I have almost just stopped, and I don't even, when they ask me about certain results or whatever, I just play it down, or I just play a little bit dumber than what I should, because I don't want to offend them. I don't want to cause jealousy, because I hate doing that, number one. But I have found, and this is true, it's an Alex Hormozy quote, is people want to see you do well, but not better than them. Yeah, and I've really realized that. So
100%. To add on to that, I think I don't know where I saw this, but it said similar. People, when they have the same circumstances as you, grow up in the same neighborhoods as you, what you're doing is their what if. Like, what if I wasn't lazy? What if I had the time? What if I wasn't brain running on Instagram?
it reminds them of what they should be doing.
Yeah.
100%. And that might sound arrogant. I hope
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
From all my readings and learnings,
Yeah.
it's true.
Well, I think it takes the right person to use that as motivation. Because, bro, me as an example, when he come up to me, because I thought you had 12, and then when he said, "No, I got 14," I swear to God, every fiber in my body was genuinely so happy, because I was like, dude, like, if somebody close to my circle, who I consider a fucking fantastic person, if he's doing all this, I can do it as well, because we've got the same mindset. So do you get what I mean? So like, if I obviously I've got 3, it's fucking peanuts compared to yours, but just being around you, like because obviously we've got a lot in common. I'm like, fuck, like, I can have a $10 million portfolio. If Blake gets a McLaren 570S, which he fucking copied from me, not joking. No. If he gets a McLaren 570S, I can get a McLaren 570S. Do you get what I mean?
Can you tell when people are genuinely happy for
Yeah,
you?
because their eyes light up, and yeah.
You can just feel the energy. I'm a big energy person.
Yeah.
And you can tell when it's authentic. And I can count on one hand the amount of people that it is authentic.
Yeah.
It reminds them of what they should be doing. 100%. And that might sound arrogant. I hope not. But from all my readings and learnings, it's true.
Well, I think it takes yeah, fucking oath. Dude, it's the same goes. I think, see, that is such a important point that you just made about them. I'm not going to say jealousy, but there is a hint of it. But it's just that what if, and it's just navigating through, like, hey, at the end of the day, don't feel bad if the people that you grew up with and people that you're friends with, like, you're slowly distancing yourself from them. That's just a natural thing. It just means you're evolving. If it just means you're growing. And if you're not looking at yourself from a year ago and thinking, wow, like, this was cringe, the way I acted, the way I dressed was cringe, it just means you're not growing.
That's so true.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I look at photos of me a year ago and be like, why the fuck did I do that?
I'll put it into comparison with my mentor, who I've been getting mentored for over a year now, one-on-one mentor. 100%. You can tell when people are genuinely happy for you, and you can just feel the energy. I'm a big energy person, right? And you can tell when it's authentic, and I can count on one hand the amount of people that it is authentic when I say my results to, and you're definitely one of them. So that's why, we have a close relationship now, because you're someone that I want in my circle.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what's even worse is that when they don't understand what you're doing, and they try to give you advice on what to do. I think that is the biggest thing. But even with that, like my brother-in-law actually taught me this. It's just the best thing to do most of the time is just accepting that's just who they are, and just, obviously I'm still gonna be as respectful as humanly possible. Obviously my brother-in-law is someone I look up to, but when he gives me property advice, I'm like respectfully, I'm like, you're not doing what I'm trying to do. I'm sure, like, because at the end of the day, you forget that most of them, when they try to give you advice on something they don't know, they're doing it as the best intention as possible.
Yeah, they are.
Does that make sense?
Like, bang on, and right on that point, even my
Yeah. I'll put it into comparison with my mentor, who I've been getting mentored for over a year now, one-on-one mentoring. And when he tells me how many properties he's got, which I won't say in case he doesn't want me to repeat it, or, his net worth, for example, I get giddy and excited for him and I want to like just give him a hug. I'm like, bro, that's so fucking good. So that's why I don't have as much sympathy for people that aren't like that with me, because I know that he's doing better than me. And I'm like, well, I'm so happy for you. Why are people not happy for me a lot of the time? So it's made me, I've always been very extroverted, right? A talker, an oversharer at times, but it's made me quiet down a lot with anyone not on this journey, like really quiet down and just not speak about it, because the looks that I get or the vibes that I feel, it's just put me off talking about it. And that's why I appreciate chats with yourself and being around like-minded people, because I feel alive. I can be myself and
overshare.
not feel bad about it and like bounce off each other. And I'm not by any stretch of the imagination talking shit about these people, because they have their own goals and ambitions and family life and everything else that they care about. And maybe I couldn't resonate strongly with them on that, but I certainly try. And I don't want, yeah, it's hard to put into words without sounding like I'm talking down about these people, because I'm definitely not. They're all such great people. They just don't understand, and you can't expect them to understand because they're not doing it.
Yeah, it just goes back to the same golden quote, like, don't listen to someone who,
Yeah, I was just thinking.
it hasn't done what you want to do. You're doing a disservice for yourself, and you're just doing the because I always ask myself, like, what would the best version of me do? Like, whatever situation possible, because I'm a huge believer in how you do one thing is how you do everything. When you skip reps in the gym, when you fucking, when you say you're gonna read this page of this book, or when you say you're gonna listen to this podcast, and you don't do it, and you just like slag it off, that's gonna creep into other aspects of your life, and that's my biggest fear. But it's just like, just trying to avoid that, and just trying to be as honest with yourself as humanly possible. So, mate, which leaves us straight to mindset shift. I've actually wanted to ask you personally. 90-something% of investors get stuck at 2 properties.
Yeah.
2 or 3 properties.
Yeah.
That's a fact. What is the biggest difference between someone who has 14 and literally everyone else?
I'll say 2 things.
Because risk appetite sounds like a big thing.
Yeah, they're doing it as the best intention as possible.
Yeah, they are, man. Like, bang on. And right on that point, even my parents, they try and give me advice like, oh, slow down, or don't go too hard, don't do this, don't do that. But they want the best for you, right? They do want the best for you. They genuinely do, but they've never done it before. So it's an injustice to expect them to be able to give you the correct advice. But they do want the best for you. They just haven't done it. And so, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Yep.
Increase your income.
Yep.
Pay down some debt.
Or get a second job. Yeah.
Or get a second job.
Yeah.
Sounds like the big thing.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I'll say the first one, not taking no for an answer.
Yep.
Number one, because I was stuck on 2. I was completely stuck on 2. I was putting in work every single day to get to my 3rd, and for about 4 to 5 months, got told no by 7 different brokers. I was
Serviceability cap.
Serviceability cap. Yeah, the banks kept telling me no. I had the equity and the cash to put down a deposit, but my serviceability, my income wasn't high enough compared to what my debt was. Right, so I never forget. I just after 7 different brokers told me no, and the banks were telling me no, the normal person would be like, the answer's no. You have to either get a promotion, increase your income, pay down some debt, or get a second job. But I didn't take no for an answer. There was one day I was sitting down at a cafe. I'll never forget, I was working. And in the corner of my eye, I saw a bloke. I saw a guy, he was sitting down across from somebody else. And on the computer screen, I could just see there was a bunch of different lenders on the screen, like NAB, Combank, ANZ. And I was like, I reckon he's a broker. Within a few minutes, he got up and left. And it looked like they were in like some sort of appointment. And he walked me out the cafe, and I said to my colleagues, I said, sorry, boys, I'm just going to go quickly do something. And I chased this bloke out the cafe. I said, hey, man, my name's Blake. You're not in trouble, because he was like freaked out. I'm in uniform, right? He thought I was going to arrest him or some shit. Oh, he did something wrong. I said, I've just saw on your computer screen a bunch of different lenders. Are you a mortgage broker by chance? He goes, yeah, man, I am. And obviously it all got relaxed from there. And I said, this is my situation. I've been told no by 7 different brokers. I'm trying every day to get my third, and I can't do it. Can we just go through some numbers and maybe try?
Yeah.
That day changed my life.
Yeah.
That effort of me getting up out of my seat, and in a slim chance, maybe he'll be able to change my life and get me my third. He did. And he sat down with me, and my borrowing capacity went from like 220K to like 530 grand. And I was like, what the fuck? How has this $3,000 just because he knows his shit, and he tried, and he actually gave a fuck?
I was going to ask you, so Steve got what you said, 2.
2 at this point.
Okay, so you had 2 at this point.
Yeah.
You increased your borrowing cap by 300K. What was the income at the time?
Including penalties, like 115K.
So I was going to ask you, so you've got what you said, 2?
2 at this point.
So, okay, so you had 2 at this point. You increased your borrowing cap by 300K. What was your income at the time?
Including penalties, like 115.
Okay, so you got 115 with 2 properties. So, and you bought all 3 of them, or both of them, sorry, in your personal name? Okay, so in hindsight, probably a trust. And this bloke, can you name drop him?
Yeah, his name's Stefan. He's a S&B Finance. He just got into his own business. We had a meeting right before I come here. He is God tier. Yeah, just like me, quick and cares and very personable. Highly recommends. Yeah.
Yeah, good person to have a conversation with, as well as do business with.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, fucking oath. Yeah.
Oh no, he's got my back.
Yeah. And actually, that's what I was gonna ask you. So it's an ecosystem at the end of the day. If you've got a healthy ecosystem of finance, accounting, and lawyers, buyer's agent as well, you're gonna be unstoppable. You're gonna get 14 properties, mate. So congrats.
Yeah, man, 100%. Like your net worth is your net worth. I think definitely. Always evaluate your circle and see who's in it. Cut any dead weight out of it, because it's very contagious, that sort of shit. So yeah, you want to be around winners and people that are on the same mission.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that. Like with property, especially with property, it's a huge thing of done once done, right? Like you would want to, like every deal that you go to, you want to make sure you're doing everything right and everything's going smoothly, because that one deal can fuck up all of them, if that makes sense.
Correct. Yeah. And I learned that.
Deal can fuck up all of them.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and I learned that from Stefan. Upon getting my third, is what I did, and I've made every mistake under the sun, 100%. But I made them quick, and I made them fast, and it's made me, learn quicker.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. So with property, usually, or with business in general, usually your most expensive lesson is your best lesson. So I think, I think God in general is really looking after you, because if you're going through all these trials and tribulations early on and you're making all these mistakes, when you get 10, 20, 25, 30, 50, you're already mentally, more than anything, equipped to handle it, as well as you've got the right team behind you, and they'll be able to sort everything out.
100%. Man, I've had so many sleepless nights, and so many times when it would have made so much more sense to just pump the brakes and give up. But I think just continuing to keep going and remembering your why as well. But one of the mistakes that I made, I didn't know until Stefan brought it to my attention, was I cross-secured my 1 and 2, properties 1 and 2. And we won't go into that today, but basically you want to keep each property separate from each other. You don't want to cross them because it makes it harder for the broker to get the next house and release equity in each house as well. So yeah, if you're having conversations with your broker, a lot of brokers will cross-secure the houses because it's easier for them. If you find a lazy one, he'll just want to cross-secure it and then, move on, but always keep everything separate. Pull the equity out. Separate entities, but separate loans. And, don't cross-securitize. And if you want to know more about that, just Google it or ChatGPT. Yeah. Hit up me or hit up Stefan. Yeah, he'll explain it very well.
Or just hit him up. Hit up Blake personally. Just be like, mate. Yeah, hit up Stefan. Final segment before we get into the fan Q&A is your advice for the next generation. So, obviously, we live in Australia. I don't know if you've seen the recent data, but I think the top 20 of the most expensive places in the world, Australian cities, Perth, Brizzy, Adelaide, Sydney, and Melbourne was in the top 5 of the top 20. If you were 18 years old right now, you just got out of high school, what are you doing? Or not even 18, if you're a young person, a Gen Z, and you want to get into the property market, because I think the median age of getting into the property market is in their mid-30s. Yeah, it's their mid-30s, and you got 14 by 28, so you're balling. But someone who's younger, who wants to get into the property game, what are you doing?
Man, your first one is the hardest. 100% your first property is the hardest. People obviously heard what I said before, how I put down $0 for my first one because I had the luxury of my parents going guarantor. If you can do that, would be my advice, because the property market, it just keeps going. And we could talk about what I foresee in the next 5 to 10 years in Australia, but if you can just get that first one, it becomes much easier from there because you're no longer using savings to put down for deposits. You're just using equity from the growth in that first property. And then the second property, this is how I got to 14, because I just keep getting equity in all my properties and I just keep on moving.
I think what, obviously the viewers don't know, but you sold your car.
Yeah. That was to get my 4th property. I have sacrificed an incredible amount. This has not come easy. I know, obviously, I got the guarantor lucky to start off, but to get to this level now, the guarantor is not going to do shit. You have to do some crazy things to get to 14 in the amount of time that I've done it. I've sold my car. It's all about what I haven't done as well. I don't drink. I don't go out and party. I don't watch porn. I don't spend on stupid shit. I watch my spending. I've sold every distraction in my house, like my PlayStation and certain TVs, or I've just sold so much stuff that isn't going to move me closer to my goal. And I've had to really evaluate my circle as well. And that means losing friends that were close to me and cut them off when it was very hard to do that. But I've sacrificed so much. So it's hard for me seeing people maybe at work or other people complain that they can't even get into their first property when I look outside and they've got a $50,000 car on finance. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. It's I saw I forgot who it was, but it's like if you've got 10 grand in your savings and you've got a $40,000 car you got on finance, you don't have 10 grand in savings. You have 30 grand because that 10 grand is going straight to the fucking repayments. So let's say obviously the thing is, some people watching, you know how they are, they make the excuse, well, he only got into it because of the collateral thing and like using his parents and all that. Hence why I asked you selling a car, because this isn't a fucking fluke. This is pure hard work, dedication, and making sacrifices and having the uncomfortable conversations with your friends when nobody has the fucking balls to do. And I just want like people to understand that. Like Blake is not lucky. He genuinely did put in the work, and I've seen it firsthand, obviously. Sleepless nights, extra penalties, is that how you say? Extra shifts.
Extra shifts, still extra penalties. Is that how you say?
I work every extra shift still to this day, man. Every bit of overtime. I get called crazy all the time when I'm doing it. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing that? I still get called crazy. Like, why are you working on your days off? You get no breaks. Last year, for example, for like 6 months straight, my meals was, and this is, people are going to think I'm fucking loopy, but my meals were Audi, rice, and tuna. It cost me like $3.30. I'd be eating that twice a day. That's how much I wanted it. I just wanted it so bad, and I would have done anything for it. So I've just sacrificed so much. The things that I've just said, that's just some of the things that I've done, man. Like, I have done some crazy things to get to this point, and it's not been easy by any stretch of the imagination.
And this,
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah. And this is someone who has a $10 million property portfolio eating fucking Audi rice and tuna.
Yeah, I'm eating a bit better these days, but
Yeah.
I was definitely doing that.
You're getting the tomahawk steaks or something.
Even now, though, like when we go.
Eating fucking Audi rice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm eating a bit better these days, but I was definitely doing that for a while. I still. Oh, man, even now, though, like when we go out, you and I went out the other night for dinner. Even when I go out now and we eat at like a restaurant, I still got this weird pit in my stomach, like, oh, this is not good. I shouldn't be spending money. This feels weird. And like, you know my net worth, and I'm still feeling like that when I eat out. I'm like, oh, I could just be at home eating my normal meal prep. Like, yeah, my mind still is in that.
oh, as I told you.
Yeah. Oh, as I told you right before we started recording, you are probably the brokest, richest person I've ever met in my fucking life. Yeah. Yeah. Because, like, you know what's crazy is that, as I told you before, like, you look like a typical Australian bloke. So, when you're walking around in public or even when you're on your duties, nobody knows.
No, nobody knows, man. Yeah. I've been a bit more public about it now on my Instagram because it's allowed people to reach out to me where I can help them, which I've now been doing. And that's been really fulfilling to me. But no, I still drive that shit car, man. Like, I had a 30 grand car, sold that for a 2 grand car.
What car?
Mazda, man. Like, it's so bad, but it reminds me of my purpose whenever I drive it. So that makes me happy. But yeah, it's a shit box.
So
Yeah, it's like from the school APS seminar when the couple, amazing couple by the way, they're like, our air conditioner doesn't work in the car.
Bro, she didn't even have a Speedo. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, these are my people, man. Like, she's driving. I probably shouldn't say that because I'm a cop. Like, you shouldn't be driving around without a Speedo. But you got to respect the grind, and she'd probably get defected after telling 2,000 people that she's got no Speedo in her car now. But yeah, my Queensland police, like, this girl's got no Speedo. But like, the concept is, she's happily willing to sacrifice. And like, not even having a Speedo in her car, and they were both sacrificing so good. So
Thank you and eight. So we did a TikTok live and we posted a Instagram story. And whatever questions people have, they sent it through.
I'd say ignore what your friends are doing and what your parents did, because we live in a totally different generation now. Times have changed, and listen to the right people. Find someone that's done what you want to do. You said that. Like you said, you want to find someone who's getting into property. Well, who's done that? Who's got 1, 2, 3, or however many you want? Find someone who's done it. Maybe listen to them. And the biggest thing I'd say, if you've got nothing because you're starting off, which we were all there, is start with sacrifice. Get a budget. I hate using the word budget. It sounds constrictive. I think get a spending plan. Yeah, that's right. I think you'd be shocked if you went through your own bank statements and saw where there was leakage in money. I think go through your bank statements, see what you can cut out,
Is there any type of
What I
beginner,
can say
such
is
as a
I
book
can
or movie
think
or
of
quote that
the first one that
inspired
pops
you?
into my head, and I haven't seen heaps of
Mhm.
his stuff, and I'm about to read his book, David Goggins. This isn't word for word or verbatim quote by any stretch, but this is what he said once, and I really resonated with it. He said, okay, so imagine you lived your life, you've come to the end of your life, and you died. You're in heaven now, right? You finished. Yeah, you're all lined up, and everyone's lining up to get a full recap of their life. And then it's your turn.
Yeah.
You walk up, and the person next to you, like, all right, this is your life.
Yeah.
So say this is for me. So Blake Deussen has helped 1,000 people retire, is a massive positive impact on all of his friends and family, has retired his mum, is living out his dream life, and is worth $20 million net worth. And then I look at the person and say, hey man, that's not me. You got the wrong guy. And then he says, that was supposed to be you. So I think it comes back to my thought process on everything is if I just keep showing up, I'll be the best that I possibly can be. And if I don't show up, it's just wasted potential. You don't know what you're capable of unless you try. You have to wake up and every day and give a fuck. And that's where I'm at now. It's all I think about. It's all I care about. It's just, yeah, I know that I'm built for more and I'll just keep striving towards it.
Alright guys, thank you very much for watching again. It'll really support the channel if you guys like, subscribe and comment and share this video on all social platforms. If you want any special guests to feature on the podcast sitting next to me, comment down below or tag them and we'll get it sorted. Cheers guys.